Hello, I'm Norma Roos, and this is for you. Here we go, Noah's Ark. Adapted by Darcy Weinbeck. There once was a man named Noah who lived long ago, at a time when most people were selfish and ignored God's word. Noah was not like those people. He was a kind man who always did his best to live as God wanted him to live. As time passed, God grew tired of mankind's cruel ways and decided to send a great flood to cleanse the earth. Because God knew Noah was good, he warned Noah about the flood. He told Noah to gather his wife, their 3 sons, and their sons' wives, and prepare for 40 days of rain. Build an ark, God said, telling Noah that it should be large enough to house not only his entire family, but also 2 each of every living creature to replenish the earth, and also food for Noah, and clean and pure animals without blemish for offering a sacrifice unto the Lord. He also told Noah to collect enough food for them all. Noah didn't know how he was going to build such a large vessel, but he knew that with God's help, anything was possible. Noah and his family began to gather wood and to build the ark just as God had instructed him. As the ark took shape, people stopped and asked Noah what he was building. Noah told them that there was going to be a great flood, and God had told him to build an ark with which to save all of God's wonderful creatures. Everyone laughed at Noah, but Noah continued working. Noah and his family worked hard for many years to complete the ark. Once the ark was finally completed, Noah and his family began the task of collecting food for themselves and all the animals. Noah and his family stood in the ark as dark clouds gathered at the distance. They watched with wonder as animals from all over the world, a male and a female of every living creature, lined up in pairs before the ark and began to board. It was a miracle that there was room on the ark for Noah, his family, and the many animals. Once the animals were settled in and everything was in place, Noah closed the door tightly. From a tiny window at the top of the ark came a beautiful beam of sunlight, shining God's light on every living thing inside. Soon the sound of gentle rain could be heard on the roof of the ark. The rain became heavier and the skies opened up into a mighty downpour. In a short time, the water flooded the rivers, the fields, and the cities, and eventually even the mountains. The ark, though, floated safely upon the rising sea of water. It rained without stopping for 40 days and 40 nights. When the rain finally ended, great oceans of water were everywhere, and not a bit of land remained above the sea. His will done. God sent a strong wind blowing over the earth clearing the sky of clouds and letting the sun shine down upon the earth once more. For 150 days, the sun shone and the winds blew. Eventually, the level of the water lowered enough to reveal the very top of the highest mountain upon which the ark settled. Soon the top of many more mountains poked out from the water. It landed in Ararat, presently known as Turkey, area in Turkey. After several days, Noah opened the tiny window at the top of the ark and sent a raven out to look for land. The raven flew back and forth over the mountains for many months and never returned to Noah. Next, Noah released a dove from the window. Not long after the dove returned, it had not found any trees or ground on which it could land. Noah's faith in God was strong, and he knew he just needed to wait patiently. 7 days later, Noah sent the dove out again. This time when the dove returned, it had a freshly picked olive branch in its beak. The water was finally low enough to show the tops of the trees. But it was still not time to get off the ark. Noah waited another 7 days and then sent the dove out once more. This time the dove did not return. It had found a safe place to land. Soon they would all be able to leave the ark. Finally, after waiting many more days for the ground to dry, Noah removed part of the roof of the ark and looked down. The water was gone. It was time to leave the ark and live on the land again. Noah and his family were very excited. Noah opened the door of the ark and watched as all the animals left in the same pairs as when they had arrived, just as God had planned. Once all the animals were off the ark, God called out to them, "Living creatures, both great and small, go and walk the earth and be fruitful. Increase your numbers and fill the earth with your goodness." You're going to replenish the earth. The animals went off in every direction. All of the grass, trees, and other plants on the ground had begun to grow back in abundance. Life had returned to a renewed earth. Next, God called out to Noah and his family, "Go and walk the earth and be fruitful. Increase your numbers and fill the earth with your goodness. You represent all of mankind. The earth and all living things are yours to tend, to take care of." God continued, "The animals and plants are provided to you for food, but remember that you must care for them well." Noah thanked God for saving him and his family and for giving all living creatures a chance for a new life. To show his appreciation, Noah gave God a gift, an offering. He offered a sacrifice to God. God was so pleased with Noah's faith and hard work that he promised he would never again cover the entire earth with water. He told Noah that in the future, whenever it rained, he would make a sign across the sky as a reminder of his promise. As they left the ark behind them to begin their new lives, Noah and his family looked back at the ark one last time, and there it was, the sign of God's love and promise, a beautiful rainbow. The end. I'm Norma Roos. Please watch all of my stories. More to come. Tell all of your friends about me. Bye-bye.